Welcome, agents, to strain 27-iOS of the Zero Point Report, a broadcast all about the news surrounding the Secret World IP. Today is September 10th, 2020, or as I like to call it, we're just starting off at year zero again. I think that's fair. It's zero years post-COVID. I'm your host for this evening, Ocho. With me tonight, we have Ember.
Hey.
And we have Jimmy the Rabbit. Hey, guys. How are you doing this fine evening?
It's still 2020, is
it?
Yeah.
It is what it is. How true. Well, welcome to everyone joining us in chat as well. I already see Manga Spirit and Hollow Point. Hey, guys. How are you, our fine viewers doing this fine evening? Everything's fine. It's fine.
This is fine.
As
everything's on fire.
Yeah. It's literally. Anyway, all right. All is well, but tired. We feel that. We absolutely feel that. But welcome to the show. We, of course, are here to talk about news and anything surrounding the Secret World IP, as we do every couple of weeks. We didn't have a show last week, but that's okay.
Weeks. That's key.
It's key. It's key there. Hey, Azriel, how are you? Welcome. Oh, I've got just for fun, I actually have a new, I made some emotes.
Did you?
I did, because I just found something I was like, how to make quick emotes. And so I just made quick emotes. Thumbs up. That's as far as it goes. Anyway. So, all right, we do have some news to talk about. It's not huge news containing the Secret World, but just a quick review of what we're going to be discussing tonight. We've seen Mutant Year Zero basically say that they're going to be coming out with a animated CG movie. We have the latest developments from Conan Exiles, which was just released today, or just announced today. The Isle of Sipta expansion for Conan Exiles. That looks good. We have quite a bit about that. We have the patch notes from the Open Beta 3.
Yep.
Which took place, what was that, 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago.
Right.
Something about that. And so the rebalancing patches, which is continued effort to do even more. And was there anything else? I'm not even sure. Anyway, if we remember it, we'll get to it.
Oh, I think we had my blind run on the list somewhere.
Oh, yes.
That was kind of part of the beta weekend.
That's kind of part of the beta weekend, though. Yeah. So welcome. We hope you guys are having a good evening, and so let's get into it. So the big news, which isn't in Secret World per se, but it is in Funcom itself, and since Funcom is kind of spreading around their workforce, anything that basically happens with Funcom itself is kind of relative to Secret World in how it goes. And the big one that was just announced, I believe, earlier today. I don't think it was even yesterday. It was earlier today, where Conan Exiles has announced the Isle of Sipta expansion. They say, gather your clan and get ready for the biggest update to Conan Exiles yet. The Isle of Sipta expansion is launching into early access on September 15th, only 4 days away. PC early access price will be $19.99 USD. The price will increase when the expansion leaves early access, which they have said about 5 to 6 months is their plan. So you could also enjoy a Steam free weekend where Conan Exiles is free over this weekend. The free weekend starts Thursday, the 10th of September, and lasts until Monday, the 14th of September. Stay tuned for a developer stream on Twitch tomorrow, the 11th of September, at 11 a.m. Eastern, where you can learn even more about the upcoming expansion from several key developers. The stream will be made available on the Funcom YouTube channel afterwards. Check out the new Isle of Sipta map with a foreboding and dark tower at its center and the brutal storm which ravages the island in their new trailer. It says Conan Exiles Isle of Sipta offers different ways to play with the all-new Vault, Storm, and Surge features, a vast new map, the new Rhino mount, which is fun, 2 new building sets, hordes of new monsters to fight, and much more. Shipwrecked and alone, you wash up on the beach. A mighty tower can be seen in the distance, and a storm filled with dark magic spreads around it. The battle for survival and dominance begins anew. Stay tuned for more news, screenshots, concept art, blogs, and trailers about the Isle of Sipta expansion, revealing juicy details.
Now, I want to know, is that tower going to be modeled after, or is it modeled after Arachi Tower? In the middle of this dark spreading.
For what it looks like, I mean,
it could be.
I mean, it could be Conan Exiles, the Conan World version of the Orochi Tower.
Yep. Combining the 2 universes together.
You get to the top and it's Lilith. And you're like, you again?
Did I just get you?
What are you doing here?
I mean, we didn't, though. Like, spoilers, but we didn't.
Oh, we didn't. Right, true.
We didn't.
They took her away. Who knows? They could have deposited her there. Who knows?
That's where they went.
It's them actually tying all the universes together.
Yep.
But of course,
we know your tricks, Funcom. You heard it here first.
Now it all makes sense.
It all makes sense and nothing makes sense. That's pretty much. So the developers have had to say, they did explain why they went into early access, and the reason why I'm just going to paraphrase here, but the reason why they said they went into early access was basically because Conan Exiles itself went into early access, and they say that did really well for Conan Exiles itself when it launched back in 2018. Approximately how long will the game be in early access? They currently expect the early access period to last about 5 to 6 months. How is a full version planned to differ from the early access version? The full version of the Isle of Sipta expansion will offer more content and features. Its features will also become more finely tuned and balanced as we receive feedback from the community and continuously update the expansion. What is the current state of the early access version? The Isle of Sipta has a new and fully playable gameplay cycle and a huge island map filled with many new creatures, dungeons, mysteries, and challenges. Will the game be priced differently during and after early access? They say yes, it will increase. How are you planning on involving the community in your development process? Maintaining close and transparent communications with the community during early access will be very important for us. We will create a special forum for Isle of Sipta early access feedback, where both the community managers and developers will be communicating with our players and digesting their feedback. Eating it all.
Woo.
That and cupcakes.
So it basically looks like, I'm not going to say Conan Exiles 2, but it does sort of look like
Conan Exiles 2.
But it does kind of look like Conan Exiles 2.
Conan Exiles Legends.
Conan Exiles Legends. In a sense.
Well, it's because it's a big change, and it's a lot of people are upset about it because it's a new database, or it's a different database on the new map. So it's technically a different game.
It's one where everyone has to basically start over on the map. You can't just port over a character. You have to basically start from scratch.
Wait, someone's mad about that?
When have we ever had to do that before?
No, I'm sorry. I wasn't actually being sarcastic.
Oh.
I was like, why the hell would you be mad about that?
Yeah.
Well, no, because people are complaining because it's still early. We don't know if you can move your prior character over to it, or because you're starting from scratch. So I mean,
I
that's
sincerely doubt you moved your character, but I mean, I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah.
well, unless you got this
That's-
stuff that you bought.
Like the way Exiles is set up, like you're more often than not, you're going to lose your character anyways. You know?
Like you're not
Well-
really supposed to survive. I
Spoiler.
mean, it is a it is what do they call what do they call this game?
Survival.
Survival, yeah. See, I'm looking at the tags for it. It's strategy, action, adventure, RPG, simulation, gore. It says nothing about survival. That's wrong.
I see at least 2 people that need to be banned.
Well, they've been timed out, so they probably came in and left.
Oh, we got people wanting to say that if we want to buy followers.
Yeah. Do we want to be famous? Do you guys want to be famous?
I
I was thinking about
I
it.
think that's rude. That implies I'm already not famous.
That's right. You don't know me?
How
You know
rude.
me?
Want to buy followers? What's a prime? I want to buy some primes.
Famous. Hey, Dark Arts. How are you? Yeah, he's right. Goes and buys followers. It's actually very much along the Conan Exiles. It kind of fits in nicely. Because was it in Conan Exiles you need thralls, which is just the easy way to say slaves, basically.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Politically correct.
Thralls. I don't even know if thralls is really politically correct either. But if it's one thing that Conan Exiles doesn't really care about, it's really political correctness.
it is a thrall though, like right? Because you break them on your wheel of pain, and now they're enthralled to you.
They love you.
hmm
I could be bought. Right. Right. If you want to pay me to be a follower of somebody.
The question is how much.
It
If someone
feels
wants to pay me to be their follower, I'll do it. Whatever. I'll be like, sure, I could click that follow button. Which, by the way, if you have not actually clicked our follow button, go ahead and do so.
Look at you.
You get the pride and accomplishment of doing that.
Smash that like button.
We don't have a like button. Well, I mean, we
You don't have a like button. Smash that
have on
follow
YouTube,
button.
though.
Well, you also have a bell that you get notified.
There you go.
Let's not
It's
go
probably the more
crazy.
useful one.
Let's not go crazy. Yeah, it is probably the more useful one. So yeah, new update to Conan Exiles. I'm gonna say now I have not actually tried Conan Exiles.
What?
Kind of surprising, but just I'm not really a big survival game player, I guess.
I think we covered this before, and
Yeah.
when I was done talking, you were like, "Well, maybe I'll try," it, and then you just never did.
And I just never did.
Best.
Because I do that. But it is on sale to go along with the announcement of Isle of Sipta. It is currently on sale for, I should be able to see this since I haven't bought it yet. For $13.99, it's 65% off. But the complete edition bundle is 45% off at $75. And the deluxe edition bundle is 53% off at $37. Because they've got a lot of expansions.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They have a shit ton of expansions.
Which most of them are actually just like stuff packs. They're more like if you want,
That's fair.
if you want just different construction materials or different ways of decorating your space or what have you.
Different armor sets, I think, a lot of times.
Right. Yeah, different ways to craft different armor.
Or also building styles. Some of the expansions are like building stuff.
The Architects of Argos was one of the last ones they came out with, and that's like a Roman style with like Roman columns and whole thing with that. So
Yeah.
But yeah, if you are so inclined, you could try that for free this weekend, and $13.99 will get you the standard edition. And as it said, right now, early access for this Isle of Sipta is $20 to be going up in about 5 or 6 months.
Yeah, which I think was the exact same amount when Conan Exiles first came out in early access. I think it was $20.
It sounds right. I got the early access for.
Yeah, I think it was $20. And that was a much different game than it is now.
Right? Yeah.
Like it was a huge difference.
Yeah. No, they've put monumental effort into it.
I mean, I wouldn't say that in a bad way. Like the basics were there. It was super fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it definitely got tons of tweaks and whatnot.
Yeah, maybe I should. I don't know.
Do it.
Maybe I should play Conan Exiles. I mean, 13. It's not a terrible price.
No.
$14. Nah.
Look, man, I played it as a rock climbing simulator / like a much better looking Minecraft.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I just like to build shit.
Yeah, you just go in admin mode, single player, and then you just go crazy.
Yeah, like I never changed the battle stuff. I kind of wanted that to be like still like real, but I changed the harvesting and those kind of times to like, max. You can scale them so that I'm not fucking chopping trees for 10 hours to build something.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't want this to be real life. Can we not?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because holy crap, I just got a spacesuit Dragon Filthy.
Ooh.
So we can raffle that off tonight.
So Jimmy's running Dark Agartha right now. Should I actually jump in game? I actually haven't done that.
You're not in game? I'm in game. I just wasn't next to Ember. I was in Dark Agartha. I hadn't done it yet today.
I feel like I should join Ember just to
Poor Ember.
have him not feel so lonely.
He was alone.
We got this guy going around on the wings.
I'm not in the same instance as you.
The next piece of news we had is about Mutant Year Zero. Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden, a CG animated movie has been announced, which is, of course, based off of the... Road to Eden is based off of the game by the 2018 game from Funcom, which itself is based on the Swedish tabletop RPG. But it's being given a full-length CG animated film treatment. The movie, which is being rendered using the Unreal Engine, so the movie is being made in Unreal, is produced by Pathfinder and Has Films and will be directed by Hazraf Dalul, the indie filmmaker behind The Beyond and 2036 Origin Unknown. He explains the story of the film as follows. If you're not familiar with Mutant Year Zero, the story is set in a post-apocalyptic future where civilization is rebuilding itself via the Ark. We follow a group of misfits, anthropomorphic mutants, on a mission to locate the engineer of the Ark, who has mysteriously gone missing, and they believe he holds the key to a mystical place of salvation known as Eden. But the deeper they venture, the more they discover that things are not what they seem outside the Ark, and soon they begin to question their existence as mutants. This is an action-adventure movie with the core theme of hope as the beating heart of the story. I mean, I'm down.
Yeah.
But I also played Mutant Year Zero, so...
Yeah, same.
It's also going to be interesting because it's animation, so you don't have to really worry about... well, they'll probably do motion capture for a lot of the stuff. Which will cut down cost.
Yeah, it's being made in Unreal, so...
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to imagine that, right? They just put a lot of motion capture in and use the assets they already have.
That was for Galani.
I was wondering. I was like, okay.
She said, "Hello, all you wonderful secret worlders, and hello also to Jimmy."
Of course.
Yeah, since you turned your back.
Hey, guy lady. Ocho lives in Jersey. and don't know about Ember, but I know Jimmy is a Philly boy, and he's the only one not wearing a Philly themed shirt. I think I think we're about relatively about equal. I think when it comes to our distance from Philly between me and Jimmy.
Games. That's why they're dirty. I have 2 Philly shirts, but it was a long weekend.
I visited Philly a couple of years ago.
I was gonna say, actually, yeah. Ember's like much further away.
A little bit further south.
A little bit.
Maytag makes something that cleans them.
Just saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna clean them and wear them this weekend for the next Philly matches. Again, why would I be wearing my Philly shirt right now? In fact, I'm wearing Shallow Gravy in mourning because Venture Brothers got canceled.
Mm-hmm.
That's not Funcom news, but it's pretty sad news.
It is. That went for like what, 17 years? Or 17 seasons?
7 seasons, probably also 17 years. It took them like 5 years or three years a season or more. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, it was a lot of dead air between each season.
No, it took them forever, but it was like 2 guys. That's why.
I was gonna say if it's not a big team, it takes a while.
I got to meet them. I got to meet them at a Comic-Con Adult Swim like party at a bar like after hours.
Nice.
It was really cool. Them and James Urbaniak, the voice of Dr. Venture, who also was in a bunch of other stuff randomly. But yeah, sadly that show's been canceled for some bizarre reason. There's a lot of weird cancellations going on right now, by the way. 2020 is a shit year for seeing all your shows just die.
Again, this is why I'm saying we just start over. That we're done. This is we've entered a new epoch. We could just say we've started over. It's now year 0.
I think Tosh.0 got canceled because Comedy Central no longer wants to do live shows. They want to do all animated or something.
It's crazy.
Which doesn't make any sense. The only animated show they had was South Park.
Yeah.
But I guess they're like, nah, this is all too big of a pain in the butt with COVID. We're just gonna go full animated.
It's gonna go full. We're gonna have people just literally working from home. It's just animating from home the entire time. A good idea. Let's start over. When Corona's over, I'm gonna start being a baby again. Like, yeah, I'm really starting over.
All the way to the beginning.
That's the way it happens.
That's the key to immortality. You get to a certain point.
Key to immortality. Yeah. Watch that take off on a conspiracy website. I heard it on a podcast.
Right.
It must be true.
There's a podcast that said you just have to just be a baby again. Oh, okay. All right.
It has something to do with 5G and Suge Knight Rocks. It messes up your DNA, and all of a sudden you're a baby next morning.
Like, oh, man, gotta go through puberty again.
Yeah, but if you start as a baby, I mean, where would you be? Are you gonna be in your own home?
Right, you're a baby, but you're starting off with a nice. You're starting off with capital.
Yeah, but you're also starting off with like a job and
That's the hard part.
What is this, boss baby?
No, employee baby.
Right. Where are the PBS reports? Goo goo gaga.
There's a line from an Alkaline Trio song that's watching newborn babies crack from work-related stress. It just fits this conversation perfectly. I think it's about I don't know what is that called? Like opposite things that can't be true. I can't English right now. It's been a long day.
It has been a long day, and I'm like, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't think of what you're.
But I can't think of
We know English so well.
We do. We good.
Yeah, I speak two
We-
two
we'd
languages,
be awesome.
English and bad English.
And mostly bad English.
Yeah.
But on the on the movie, on the Mutant Year Zero movie, the director concluded by saying, "I'm excited to say there's going to be some pretty insane, edge of the seat, wall to wall action like you have never seen before, driven by emotionally charged and extremely witty characters throughout, whilst having a strong story that is full of twists and mystery. We're going to laugh out loud with the banter and quips between our characters and be emotionally moved with the heartfelt moments and then gripped with tension and thrown into a roller coaster of action." So, I mean,
Sounds
sure.
like PR.
This is a movie that is apparently going to be everything you want and more.
Strap in,
mean,
folks.
If it has ducks, I'm in already.
It does. Ducks and Borman, they're going to be in it.
Like that's all you need.
Yeah.
You had me at the duck. Why are we still talking? Let's see the duck.
Well, if this goes good, then we're going to get Howard the Duck. Be like,
Right.
oh. Marvel will be like, hey, if they can do it, we can do Howard the Duck.
This is the backwards way to get it,
Yeah.
to get Howard the Duck. They're like, hey, how about let's put a movie with a duck?
Howard the Duck, like as an assassin.
James
That's,
Bond.
that's basically what Dux is, right? Dux is just
Yeah, crossbow wielding assassin
he's a sniper. Howard the Duck.
wearing a sharp top hat.
Yes. Well, assuming you keep that on him,
Hmm.
change up his gear.
It's true, you don't have to keep it
But
on.
it is a dapper look, So
But my guess is for the movie, they're probably going to keep it on him.
yeah, right. They probably would stick with the iconic look, right? Like
Yeah.
the art look, most likely.
Well, that's what a lot of people, when they look at us, they pull up what is Mutant Year Zero, and then you see a duck with a top hat. Say, oh, okay, yeah, we
Yeah.
got to keep that. At least for most part of the movie.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm going to say that now that, yeah, if you haven't played Mutant Year Zero, it actually is it's a fun game.
It is.
It's,
Even when you don't realize that you can change levels for, I don't know, 3/4 of the game.
it's right.
You know how long it took me to notice the middle mouse button lets you change the plane you're attacking?
Mm-hmm.
I would only attack things that were on the same plane as me.
Yeah.
I was like, how does flying help? I can't attack anything below me.
Be like, I can't get up there. I can't
No,
shoot. I
I
can't
have, like,
shoot
ducks
below
in
me. Yeah.
I got the flight ability for ducks,
Mm-hmm.
and then I couldn't attack anything on the ground because I didn't know that the middle mouse button lets you switch the horizontal plane that you're attacking. So like if I made him fly, he would only be able to attack things at that height because I didn't know the button to change it down.
I want to say I encountered an issue one of the last times I played, and it was like I finished out a map, but one of the guys who died, he dropped some loot, but his loot was like in a location where I literally could not access. Like I killed him,
Yeah, I've seen that.
and he was like up on something, and it was like I want to get up there
And, like-
and get that, and it was like nope.
If you were
nope.
in combat, you could like use one of the abilities and jump up there or something.
That's how I fixed it. Is I actually had to go enter combat, like get close to somebody without them noticing me, enter combat, and then completely run away, so I could then use the ability to jump up.
Jump up, yeah. I had like a pretty amazing Overwatch loop where you say like you Overwatch is where like you're just ready to shoot, and
Yep.
if they run past you, like you'll auto shoot basically. But the enemy said Overwatch, and I was like, no, screw you, Overwatch. And it went on for that, like 10 minutes. I was like, Overwatch, 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 Overwatch. Like,
You move.
I
You
did
move.
eventually
You
give up, but I'm pretty sure I found like a permanent loop. Like if I had just kept hitting Overwatch, it never would have progressed.
No, actually, I want to say that the AI was actually pretty good from when I remember it.
Yeah, it didn't like. I'm not saying it happened often, but
Yeah.
I got like an infinite Overwatch loop where I just kept pressing Overwatch and he kept pressing Overwatch. I got really good at that game at the very end of the DLC.
Okay, I don't think I started to play the DLC.
So I beat the
I don't think
normal
I got that far.
I had the DLC and I did the DLC, and I really felt like I got really good at the game, like in the last fight. Which is kind of like, oh man, I finally figured out how to use everything perfectly. You know,
Mhm.
I finally figured out how this game works, and now I'm done. Shit.
I'll say right now on Steam, Mutant Year Zero, it says it's for the bundle of Mutant Year Zero and Seed of Evil, which is the expansion for it, is currently $45 on Steam, $35 for the base game. Do I not? Of course, it's in my Steam library. Of course, it is. I was gonna say I've played it. Come on, Steam. What are you doing to me? But it's that usually goes on sale. 35 is not the price that we've seen it a lot cheaper than that. And it was free on Epic Game Store not too long ago.
Yeah, I think it's on there. Been on there for once or twice already in the past year.
Which, if we want to talk about that, the Conan Exiles was supposed to be on Epic Game Store for free, like what, a couple of weeks ago?
No, it was a couple months ago, or a month or two ago, wasn't it?
Was it that long ago? I remember it was supposed to be on the Epic Game Store, and then at the last second, it was pulled from being on the Epic Game Store.
The last hour before it was actually a switchover was going to take place.
Yeah, it was immediately pulled, and my guess is because, well, the expansion that they just announced.
Think?
Maybe.
That seems
I don't know.
No, because that would have been way too early before they even let anybody know.
I don't know.
It was back in July.
Oh, was it that long ago?
Yeah.
It was like almost 2 months ago.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, man, time
is relative.
What day is today?
Time is an illusion.
We should know that.
So
we should know that because we have our show on Thursday nights. It is Thursday night.
Well, the reason why, because I still have the Beyond the Veil on my calendar, so I get the notifications every Thursday. I haven't changed that yet.
Beyond the Veil is going on. Beyond the Veil, of course, being the previous show that we were all a part of, that we are the continuation of.
We're the spinoff.
The spinoff, yes. So yes, so as far as I know, no timeline has been announced for the movie, but I imagine it's not going to be in theaters.
I know I saw some things they were trying to say that they were going to be in theaters. I was like, you're high.
And all CG and all movie made in the Unreal Engine be put out in theaters? Yeah, I don't know about that.
No, I just meant in general. I just meant movies in general.
Oh, just movies in general.
Yeah, the only thing that's going to be out there,
it's going to be only in theater.
Yeah, like Tenet.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of. Tenet. That movie looks cool. But there's
I love how they're like, oh, it underperformed in theaters. Like, you think? I don't think that's. They're like, oh, it underperformed in theaters. The movie must not be that good. Be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, Tenet's actually already out in theaters. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it released international first before releasing here in the U.S.
There's just no way. Sorry, the movie's good, but not that good. Not good enough for me to go get COVID in the theater. Thanks.
I don't know. I'll risk it when Dune comes out.
When Dune comes out?
Yeah.
I mean, so that's a thing, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Legitimately, it's in our news docket.
That a trailer for Dune has been announced or has been released.
Yeah.
Released, yeah.
Yeah, the official trailer, yeah.
Official trailer for the Dune movie. And of course, why that is news for us is because that the Dune movie series is kind of why Funcom itself got the rights, and they're going to be making a Dune game, sort of along the same lines as Conan Exiles. Last we checked,
Yeah, I have
it's
no
going to be
idea.
sort of a survival sandbox ish thing.
Yeah.
Definitely will involve sand. That much we can.
It's sand and spice, right? You got the two components there.
And sandworms.
But is also kind of the reason why Tencent decided to go all in on Funcom as well.
Right. Well, that is because Funcom knew the movies were coming,
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted to make this like a high-end title,
Mm-hmm.
and they were shopping for investors because they
Mm-hmm.
wanted to pump more money into the development of it, which is why the whole Tencent thing came about. It's not that Tencent was like, "Oh, Dune's happening, let me gobble up Funcom." It was Funcom's like,
hey, we want
wanna make
investors.
amazing. We need an injection of money, and Tencent went like, well, what if we just buy up all your shares?
Yeah, what if we just buy you and you can have as much money as you need to make this?
Yeah. So because the Dune trailer looked really good. I don't know if you saw it.
I did. It looked really good.
It did look really good. So
And what's going to happen is that this is going to be 2 movies because there is just way too much of the book.
is it
to
only
put
2? I thought we were looking at like 3 or something potentially.
No, the director who's doing this directing, he said he wants. The only reason why he's doing this movie is if he's going to do it in 2 movies. He can't.
Okay.
Do it, you can't really do it in one, unlike the.
Well, I know you can't do it in 1, but I was saying I thought they were doing like possibly more than 2 is what I was.
No, it's because I think what this first movie is going to come out is going to be. If you haven't read the book, it's or the David Lynch movie. It's been 40 years.
right.
So
Spoilers.
Yeah. So what's going to happen? It's going to go all the way up to when the Harkonnens take over or take back Arrakis from the Atreides family, House of Atreides, and that's going to be the end of the first movie. And then from second movie is going to be the remaining part.
Gotcha.
Okay. As long as it's not like The Hobbit, where they tried to stretch The Hobbit into 3 different movies.
That's one movie. That should have been.
That should never have happened.
No, I mean, I think The Hobbit could legitimately have been 2,
Okay.
maybe, but not 3.
Not 3.
3 was just a lot. Okay. Also, here's a little factoid about me. I didn't see any of them until the 3rd one came out. Because I was
That's fair.
I'm not like and at the time I was seeing movies all the time. Like this was really bizarre for anyone that was in my circle of friends at the time. Were like, wait, what? You haven't seen the movie? I'm like, no, man. I'm waiting till the 3rd one comes out. PJ, God damn it, is my response to that.
I hate to say, I haven't seen any of the Hobbit movies anyway.
No, I haven't seen Hobbit, but I've seen like the Return of the King.
I've seen the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the expanded edition, and I love them. But
I'm talking about the Lord of the Rings. Sorry.
oh,
To be clear,
okay.
Lord of the Rings movies. Yeah. There's 3 Lord of the Rings movies, right?
Okay, I've seen those. Yeah.
Okay. So I waited until the 3rd one came out, and then the night before, I had the DVD my brother had for the first 2. So I watched the first one, and then next morning I woke up and watched the second one, and then I went in the theater and watched the 3rd one. The thing is, he had the extended DVD.
Of course.
So I don't know the difference between regular and extended because all I saw
was extended.
Extended.
I mean, that's kind of the way to see it if you're going to see it.
A shit ton of Lord of the Rings, like a really short period of time. But I do remember talking to friends in this like 2-year process, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where I was like, man, I hope I don't get hit by a bus before the 3rd one comes out. I'm on this mission to like see them. Like it's not that I didn't want to see them. I just wanted to experience it all at once.
Yeah.
And for the first time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a multi-year commitment to that goal. And every time I went to see a movie, I'd be like, I hope I don't get hit by a bus. And then they bust in people to see fucking Passion of the Christ, I think.
Okay.
Was somewhere in there. and they're literally busing people in. And I was like, I'm gonna get hit by a bus. There's a bus.
You're like, I
right
am
now.
actually gonna get hit by one of these.
The Hobbit. I don't know, man. I guess the Hobbit could have been one movie.
We'll see the source. It comes back to the source material because if you look at the Lord of the Rings, the trilogy of the Lord of the Rings are 3 massive books.
Yeah,
but it didn't need to be 3 movies, man. There was a lot of bullshit in those movies.
I mean, yeah, because Tolkien's writing does get very long-winded, but there were 3 very large, thick books. The Hobbit is maybe a book that's maybe half the size of even one of the Lord of the Rings novels.
Technically a short story.
It's basically a short story. Now they're like, let's make 3 movies out of this. Be like, oh, that's the opposite direction.
The Hobbit, right? Wasn't it just 2?
For The Hobbit? No, it's 3. I think.
Really? Are you sure?
Almost positive.
You have the Desolation of the Hobbit and the Desolation of Smaug, right? I thought it was just 2. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
Nope, it's 3.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's The Hobbit, Unexpected Journey.
Oh, the Battle of the 5 Armies.
Yeah, the
Battle of the 5 Armies.
Not about that one. You know what I have to say though? This is probably going to sound horrible based on our conversation we're just having right now.
Mm-hmm. We switched it to Lord of the Rings.
No, I'm going to say that I prefer the 3 Hobbit movies.
Really?
I think.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you this before you go any further. Have you seen any of the original Hobbit animation or read the book?
They don't count.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's completely the animated movie was a truncated version of the books.
Yeah.
Now you make 3 movies of a truncated version.
But no, it's okay. But listen. This is what I'm saying. Like the Lord of the Rings had a lot of bullshit.
A lot of it. Mm-hmm.
It's really flowery. I think The Hobbit was just him having a good editor. Like the Hobbit movies
That was the first
feel like more is happening. I don't know if that makes sense. It feels like there's more happening, and there's not walking trees taking up 20 minutes of fucking footage.
I was gonna say the difference is that in the Lord of the Rings, even the extended version Lord of the Rings movies, is that they actually took each book and smushed it down, and so they took out a lot from what was actually in the books to make it that way, and even still, it was very long-winded in parts. But that's what they took. But they took the Hobbit and they just pushed it apart. Like,
yeah, but I don't know. I think maybe they learned because the Hobbit came second. Maybe they learned from their mistakes in Lord of the Rings. But I feel like I don't feel like in the Hobbit movies I was ever particularly bored. It was usually pretty entertaining. Maybe the pacing was better or something.
I think the pacing was probably a lot better. Yeah.
It didn't feel quite. And also because I'd seen Lord of the Rings, maybe I was more immune to the pacing by that point. I don't know.
Maybe I'm just sitting in for 12 hours. It's okay. We'll watch.
Yeah, I like the Lord of the Rings movies in general. Don't get me wrong, but it just felt like there was a ton of bullshit that could have been like skipped over. And a lot of Lord of the Rings is literally just hemming and hawing over the stupid ring and
20 pages on like a song. Yeah.
Yeah, or am I going to throw it in there or not throw it in there? And we're going to go back and forth for, I don't know, man. There's a lot of like weird emotional bullshit.
Mm-hmm. That is a huge part of it. Yeah.
I love the Clerks.
Keep in mind, I'm actually a big fan of Lord of the Rings just in general. I'm not a humongous fan like some people are, but I am a pretty big fan of it.
Was it?
But yeah, no, it's very flowery.
Wasn't it Clerks 2 where he like makes the fanboy throw up because he's making fun of Lord of the Rings, and he's like, "Oh, like look, it's just walk over, throw it in the pit. Oh, I'm done." Like walks away, and like he gets the fanboy so mad he like vomits because he's making fun of Lord of the Rings movies. It's like it was a whole bunch of just fucking walking. And it's like, yeah, that is a lot of those 3 movies is literally just walking.
A lot of walking. That's why they used New Zealand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, if you're gonna be walking, at least make it really pretty.
While walking, and then I have to throw this in a pit. Like, it's just, whatever.
And you have to have second breakfast.
Yeah. Third breakfast.
Yeah.
11 Z's. I'm down for that part. Potatoes.
I will say I'm looking forward to Matrix 4.
Okay. I remember seeing the original Matrix in the movie theaters, like
But
going
it's
and seeing
not
like
gonna
opening
have-
night almost.
It's not going to have Hugo Weaving in it, though.
Oh, the Matrix 4?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's okay.
Yeah, that storyline was kind of done and over with.
Yeah.
Really.
So, it just thinking of movies that have like large numbers of sequels and stuff. Like I was like, yeah, that one looks cool. Or I don't even know if it looks cool. Just the idea of it. I'm like, yes, give me another Matrix movie, please.
Yeah, because we haven't got any like information. That only thing
Let me
they're
check
doing.
into something that's not 2020. Can we do that?
It's a different version of 2020. Everything is fine. Not
You're like,
perfect.
oh wait, it's all run by robots, so we're in a virtual environment. Yeah, I'll take that.
I'll take that. Right. That
Yeah.
sounds a lot more comforting right now. Yeah.
Feeding tube, please.
I'll take that blue pill.
Let's go.
Right. Give me that. It's all good. So we had that. And so now we get to Secret World news. Shock of all shocks. They released the Open Beta 3 patch notes. Of course, this was a little while ago.
A couple weeks ago now.
A couple weeks ago. But it was after our last show.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot on there.
And these are big patch notes. So Jimmy, do you want to run us down these patch notes as far as, because there's a lot of it. There's like the patch notes comprise I don't even know how many pages, but pages and pages. So you want to go over maybe the better points?
Oh, it's like 4. It's like 4 pages. Yeah, so some of them are pretty like skippable. I guess so. Like there's like a fix to a gadget and safeguard to a certain rings effect. That this one's probably more relevant. Anima-touch weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones, the purple ones that come from the Gartham cache.
Yes.
You can actually use before level 50, and they kind of level up. To bring these weapons in line with the new self-healing soloing expectations, the amount healed is now 35% of the damage dealt.
Interesting. So for that's for healers, I guess.
Well, the Anima-touch weapons just healed, I believe, in general. I don't know if I have one on me.
I see, because that seems like a heavy amount of healing.
No, well they already healed. Like that's what Anima-touch ones did as
Right.
like the effect. Let me see if I have. Will it say? I don't know if it'll say. Yeah, it doesn't say on it. Let me see if I can look up the live effect real quick. So Anima-touch weapons, it's a 33% chance for a 350 damage plus heal with every attack.
Okay.
Versus
Versus
now
now.
heal is now 35% of the damage dealt. So it's just a change in how it functions.
So now it's just a straight heal, basically.
It's like a leech heal, 35%
Yeah.
of the damage you deal. So yeah, Anima-touch weapons are changing. Okay, so the dungeons part, we talked about this a little bit last time. The nightmare mechanics are now starting at E8,
Mm-hmm.
And the Nightmare Plus mechanics is starting at E14.
Mm-hmm. Is that the official name we're going with now?
That's my name for it. So
Nightmare Plus.
everyone else better just get on board. So, like it says, some of these are fairly deadly. You have to change the way you approach bosses. And many of them interact with purges. So, passive done on player purging capabilities. Some abilities have been reduced in effectiveness, while other abilities have been given purges. Then there's just some normal adjustment stuff. There's actually an interesting fix here. Polaris Boss 2, the sorceress did the Death Squall, which is like the electric storm that she would cast. So there's some kind of weird backstory to how that thing works. Historically, as the tank, you wanted to stand until she was done casting it. Because if you didn't, weird things would happen. Like you're tanking her, you're the aggro target, she casts Death Squall, it's got a cast timer, it's got a bar, right? And then when it finishes, it lands on you, and you have this visual storm, and you're taking damage. And then as the tank, you would move out, because you can survive it. The problem that would occur is if the tank didn't know that they should stay there, they'd be like, oh, Death Squall's being cast, let me run away.
Mm-hmm.
The damage area would end up so the visual area would cast where she's standing when she started the cast. The damage area would end up wherever the tank is when the cast ends.
Okay.
So you would have this, the storm doesn't tick you, but this invisible area over here does hurt you. Because they would get out of sync because the aggro target moved. So that's all has been fixed. The desync, the cloud desync and damage area should no longer happen. The cloud's also gotten more dangerous. It also has a preview effect now. That's cool. Ads should no longer one-shot DPS in Darkness War. That's a good one, at least in the first boss. So I don't know if you guys do a lot of dungeons, but the two guys between Darkness War boss 1 and 2 always felt like an extra boss.
Okay.
You could beat boss 1, and then those two trash mobs in between to the next boss would inevitably kill 1 or 2 people. Well, they did an attack called Fevered Blow, which is really strong, and if the tank didn't grab it or impair it, they hit someone with that, you just die. But now it's got a preview cone. You can just stand out of the way of it.
Okay.
Kind of like, I don't know if you remember in TSW, the ghost could silence you.
Yeah.
And they do the same in Legends, but now there's a cone. So you can just step to the side of the silence. I think it was always a cone. There just wasn't an outline, so no one knew to just
move. Yeah.
Get out of the way, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. They made some changes to the filth cone on the third boss, Darkness War.
I just want to throw in a side effect here. Since Kylene has mentioned it, she said, guess what I have coming off the cutter at the moment? My Secret World Legends decals for the contest. Kylene is actually having a contest that is going on where she is posting questions. What is it, once a week? Yeah, posting 4 questions per week.
For eternity.
Right, for the rest of time. What you need to do is write down your answers to them, and I don't know, just hold on to them, I guess.
Yeah. So I'm going to put this out there. I don't understand how you're doing what the hell you're doing, Kalani. It's weird. It's irritating.
Well, it fits in with the lore.
But yeah, I think the idea is, I guess it gives you time to think of the answers, but she wants all the answers at the end. So when the last set of questions goes up, you would compile all of your answers
in essay form, video form, screenshots, or story art, however you choose. I'm thinking of using Pinafore, but that's just me.
I was just thinking of horrible things, so I'm going to stop. Stop.
Isn't that the name for like flags? I forget. I don't know. Just 4 weeks, so two weeks left. Okay.
Oh, here's another particular interesting fix. The third boss in Darkness War has had this really irritating problem just randomly deciding to smack a couple of DPS dead, no matter what the tank did, for a long time now. And that has now been fixed. So that's a cool one.
Mm-hmm.
They've nerfed how we like to do boss 4 with the Akab. Because currently on live, you just the tank just stands behind a little cocoon, and when the Akab boss runs out, he'll run into the little cocoon, right?
Right.
And then when he goes to dash, he just dashes at the cocoon over and over, and he can't hit you, but he'll just do that. It doesn't hurt you, right? So you get to stick him in place and drop all your mayonnaise and everything.
Oh no! I didn't mean pinafore. I'm now looking up on the wiki just to be like, oh no, I meant semaphore. Semaphore. Semaphore.
Sure.
Semaphore was the joke, and it just made much worse.
Pornhub.
Now you gotta clear out your history. And
oh no! Yeah, we're gonna cut. We're gonna go back 3 minutes. We'll be okay. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Gonna hire nude models to act out the answer to the question.
And action.
So anyways, on the Akab thing, they're fixing it so that if the Akab guy can't get to you, it does like an area damage, so you can't cheese that boss anymore. Oh yeah. Hardwired flesh tank has had enough of your positioning shenanigans. Prepare to be burned. That doesn't even cover all of them. Okay, so Hell Raised.
So I don't know Hell Raised as well as I know Darkness War Polaris. So which boss are we talking about here in Hell Raised?
So Hell Raised, the second boss usually is pretty tank and spank, like the little Rakasha guy that comes up.
Okay.
Like you just go behind him and the green circle happens and you just hug while the circle happens, and you usually just stand behind him and beat the crap out of him until he dies. Like it's pretty easy, right? Not anymore. Not on E14 plus, at least. He'll so that still happens, but immediately once that donut green circle is gone, he drops like a acid pool like on his spot. So you immediately have to get the hell out of there or you die. And the tricky part about this is the way that encounter is structured is when you start the fight, both ends of the encounter light on fire and slowly move towards the middle. I don't know if you guys are aware of that.
Oh, that boss. Okay, yeah.
Like, it's not the fourth boss with fire. The second boss has fire at both ends. But you just rarely see it.
Yeah, because you go
most times people kill it long before that ever hits the middle. But in this case, you have to move him back and forth a bunch because you can't stay where he is. It's a big pile of acid that's going to kill you. It does eventually go away, but you have to be out of it. So then, everyone has to run, including the tank who needs to move, which means sometimes if he does that too quickly or someone moves too slowly, you get cleaved by the boss attacking, and then you got to position him again, and then he does the circle, and then the other circle, and you run back. That fight got like 10 times more work than it's ever been before. It's pretty fun. Also, you have to purge there a bunch. He gets like some kind of effect on him that will not only like reduce your damage incoming, but I think actually even might reflect damage. I don't remember. You got the purge stacks. Trauma
But we're
Driver,
all getting a lot of purges now. We're getting a lot more purges.
yeah,
So.
which is really good. Really good. We talked about this a little bit last time. It means that your purge effect of like your talisman, because I want to say it's the finger talisman has like things that trigger off of interrupts or purges, which rarely got triggered in the current live setup. But now, at least on E14 Plus, you'll have an opportunity to trigger those, which is good. It's makes things more useful. So boss 4 on Hellraise, Trauma Driver, his Molten Metal now has a preview, and that's amazing. That's like a big fire AoE thing he does, but it's never had a preview, like a chalk outline. So when you wanted to run away from it, you just ran as far away as possible because you don't really know where it ends. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So now it actually has a preview. On top of that, I'm just going to throw this out there. It's not in the patch notes, but it was visible during the open beta. He also casts Hellsword from Dr. Gartha. If you've not seen that one, it's where the succubus guy, like, it goes like this, and like a fiery lane goes out, and like a little hilt part, and then it sweeps a direction. Now I want you to imagine you're in Hellraise boss 4, the aisle with the purple circles going up and down it.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. And the thing's on fire at the end, and now the boss casts a flame sword down the middle.
So where are you supposed to go?
you don't have too many options, really.
Yeah.
So, well, the biggest thing is actually on the tank. He's gonna cast it the tank's direction. If the tank has their back to the side, then he'll cast the sword horizontally, right? Okay. As opposed to down the whole hallway. So a lot of it's positioning. It becomes like, this much versus like literally like nowhere to go because it's taking up the whole center of the thing and it's going to sweep one way or the other. Whereas the tank can aim it at the side, it's pretty trivial. I have seen both happen, and it's going to be a tank position check, honestly.
Not bad.
So okay, so just before we get to the other dungeons, real quick, because I was going through the notes, but not really noting like the effects. So for anyone that missed the open beta, Polaris has multiple bosses now that do Siren Song, which includes the famous song from the story where you're tracking the sword and little musical notes are floating in the air, and that really cool piece of music. For instance, the sorceress that does the Death Squall, boss 2, she'll do the Siren Song. It's got like the blue filter effect comes on your screen.
Yep.
The song comes on. And then I think 1 or 2 people randomly get like a red circle around them, which is kind of like a corruption circle, and you have to be healed by the healer. So it's like a healer check. And then also you can't overlap onto people because you'll damage them. I forget, it happens again somewhere else. Is it maybe boss 4? I think. The Big Mother one, I think, might have it. And then I believe Erdrog has a variation of it. And Erdrog has like a new mechanic as well. Like in the blue phase, it's a healer check.
Okay.
Healers are necessary.
Healers are now. Right.
Darkness War adds blow up. The Mayans, they explode when they die and deal damage. That's really what's going on there. You think Polaris Boss 5 needs more mechanics? It doesn't. at least like on E5 and up, I guess. It really doesn't. I don't know that it has anymore, even on the E14 new stuff. There's so much going on in that fight already. It was a joke.
It was a joke, right?
Yeah. I don't think it does. I'm pretty sure it doesn't have, but I know things have been tweaked on that fight because
Well, you say that now, then of course Neville he's listening probably. He's like,
yeah,
oh,
right.
good idea.
Go ahead and tweak something. No, I do know. I actually know for a fact. I think
Hey.
that fight has been one of the more
Maybe I should.
tuned down ones, because I think initially the ads were either hitting too hard and or just like way too much health. Those little squiddies, you end up with like 30 of them, and you just can't kill them. Like you can't kill them fast enough, and then people die.
Yeah, they all gang up on certain
Yeah,
people.
so I think those have been one of the more tweaked ones, honestly.
Yeah, especially if you can't get rid of them fast enough, then all of a sudden it goes back into the next rotation, and you got them, and then you got the main boss getting you as well.
Yeah, on the Ankh, there's ads, mummies and spiders. So, like in the spider fight, a bunch of little spiders will spawn. And
Okay.
Go attack somebody, and they're small and creepy. You're like and like the mummies, I think, are on boss 1, and they have like a weird leashing line. You can see who they're going to, but all it really is like a fancy dot on you that the healer's got to heal. It's a healer check. You can't kill them. They appear for a certain amount of time and then go away on their own.
Okay.
So it's literally just something for the healer to pay attention to whoever happened to get targeted by the ads to make sure everyone stays alive.
Again, the common thread here being is that they're adding for what it sounds like they're adding a lot of healer checks just all around, or at least
there's different ones. There's healers
Yeah.
checks, there's tank checks. I mean, there's certainly DPS checks.
But DPS checks and tank checks were like primarily there. There weren't a whole lot of healer checks in the first place.
Yeah. No, there's definitely are checks where you're like, oh no, because it's not even about the tank. Like even if a tank could somehow sustain themselves,
Right.
the DPS aren't staying alive without a healer, right? That's so some of these are. I should actually probably rephrase. It's not just a healer check; it's like a group healing check versus a tank healing check.
Right.
So that's an important difference.
Yeah. Where everyone's going to be getting damaged, not just the tank. Yeah.
Yeah, and if
can take
DPS
more
don't
of
get
it.
healed up, they can die. For instance, in Darkness War, if you just kill too many ads at once, you can straight up just die from the overlapping explosions of bodies.
Mhm.
Like how we run Darkness War on live right now, boss 6 is you just run down and wing all the ads at once. That will insta wipe the entire group
Oof.
because all the damage multiplies. Like you really don't want to kill like more than like 4 at a time or something, because they explode and the damage goes out like in this wave, and that wave is a super like huge area.
Wow. Okay.
So any of the Darkness War ones that have like a bunch of Mayan ads that like run in, you have to be careful that you do need to kill them. You just can't insta kill them all at once, or you'll wipe your group.
Like slow down on the killing.
Yeah, or like
Yeah.
it's just
That's exactly what it was. Yeah.
like you just can't wing them and expect to live. Put it that way.
Yeah. Like if you thought you were going to cheese your way through this, no.
And let's see. They fixed an interesting problem in Hell Eternal where the lava golem would like stand in the water when his shield's coming up, and it would take a second. And they also fixed that annoying bug of being stuck in combat after completing that boss.
Mm.
I don't know if you ever
Okay.
experienced that, where like you beat the lava golem in Hell Eternal, and then you're just in combat for like the next 2 minutes for no really good reason.
For no reason. Yeah.
Trying to think what else they did on Hell Eternal. Oh, the succubus with the machine tyrant guys roaming around, right?
Mhm.
Boss 4,
Yes.
with the alarm that goes off.
Mm-hmm.
So now, when she switches to that the vigil phase where like you can't hurt her, she spawns like the succubi, like the Hell Soldier guy.
Okay.
and he'll also do that sword cast from Dr. Gartha. And you have to kill him before she's attackable again. So even if her timer runs out, it doesn't matter.
As long as he's still alive. Yeah.
Yeah, until he's dead.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that got changed. Also, the reflex shields are nasty things on E14 Plus. I think on live the reflex shields basically don't do much. Or they're not even reflex shields; they're shields, but they don't really reflect damage back.
Right.
Yeah, that's not the case. I think it's intended that a healer should be able to output enough healing for a DPS to keep DPSing potentially, but they have to really be like hardcore healing the group as they shoot at those reflex shields. Let's see. There was a minor.
Yeah, if you're gonna get all your damage back, you need to heal through that.
Yeah, we went through one run. I want to say it was prior to the open beta. Actually, we went through a run on that where like before the shields were fixed, and it was like you could shoot even with the healer healing you. You could shoot for about 2 seconds before you killed yourself. Even with the healer focus healing you, which made like Eblis like crazy difficult because he kept casting a shield every like 30 seconds. And it was
Right.
like, for the love of God, we can't shoot him.
You're like, get it down.
Also, it made boss 5 like incredibly difficult because normally that's the one with the 3 guys, and you pick which one you fight. You leave last.
Yes.
And last person, they have a certain special ability that you have to fight around. And normally you'd leave Cassius last, and he just spawns ads. But not only does Cassius shield himself, all his ads shield themselves.
And with a reflect shield on all the ads, any AoE will
You have
just
like 5 ads, but they have reflect shields that you can't because you'll kill yourself. And then like we actually, I think the tank died from ads because we were trying to kite around. There was like 10 ads because he kept summoning ads, and we couldn't kill the ads because their shields weren't going off fast enough. We had to redo it. We had to go BCI and leave Iscariot for last, I think is what we did, so that we didn't have to deal with so much shielding. But that's fixed. That's fixed now. That it should be doable. So there's some minor tweaks to a bunch of weapons. Yeah, grenades got some balancing. It's mostly like just bug fixes on there. The energize can purge an effect from enemies. Incendiary grenade now purges one beneficial effect from targets. So again, purges, right?
purges. Yeah.
Minor
Purges galore.
fix.
Yeah.
Minor bug fix for Blade because Spirit Blade was losing a hit essentially. There was a balancing math error that reduced the damage of Spirit Blade. Sorry, the balancing math error was Spirit Blade was amazing prior.
It was really good. Yeah. So I remember you saying that. Yeah.
Fixed. Crushing Tide has had his damage adjusted for the new Spirit Blade damage. Swallow Cut was triggering Immortal Spirit too often. Tsunami was generating way too much chi. There's a lot of things that got fixed that kind of made Blade come back down a bit.
But, I mean, balanced. To make it more into what they had.
Okay, to be
what they
fair,
had.
they were bugs. They were like legitimate like math bugs. Like
Yeah.
they weren't supposed to. Now, I believe actually in general I think Spirit Blade damage itself got buffed a little bit. I don't know if it's in this note, but I believe it did. So like they corrected math errors, but at the same time there was some adjustment given to the fact that like we still wanted to perform well, right?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just like, oh, we fixed these things and now it's shit and we're not touching it. Like that's not what happened.
Because the point of Blade before, or still going on in live, I guess, is that Blade is primarily like it's a good solo weapon, but you can't really bring it to real group content.
No.
No?
No, it's supposed to be a good melee like dungeon weapon.
But yeah, but it's supposed to be. But right now, it kind of
Yeah, right now in live, it's not.
It's not,
well,
yeah.
it's all right for dungeons, honestly. It can be done. It's just not as good as it should be, especially not for a melee weapon.
right.
Melee are supposed to be burstier, like a higher burst damage potential, because you have to be in close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you get more.
Which means you also have to get away more.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a range can just keep shooting. So the melee burst potential should be higher, just because of the nature of melee combat versus range combat, and that's where Blade has been lacking since the beginning, really. That is definitely changing. Crushing Tide is the biggest thing that's changing that, because you now don't have Spirit Blade as an ability. Spirit Blade just happens. Like when your chi goes up, your Spirit Blade auto forges. Period.
Mm-hmm.
And then Crushing Tide is, let me break my blade on your face and deal all my spirit damage at once in one burst hit. So that's really what's fixing that. Soothing Spring, by the way, speaking of solo versus group, Soothing Spring now cleanses one detrimental effect from team members every 2 seconds for 6 seconds.
That's really nice.
So, dev commentary on that one. Blade as a weapon did not have much in the way of team utility, making it the perfect place to add additional team-wide cleansing as an alternative to cleanup from Shaka.
Mm-hmm.
So now your Blade user could
cleanse.
Bring a group-wide cleanse.
And a good one, too. That cleanses every 2 seconds for 6 seconds.
And then there's just a bunch of... I don't want to go over all of these, but essentially... there's a bunch of chi adjustments, some minor damage adjustments. As far as the weapons, so Stormbringer now generates 1 chi every 4 seconds, down from every seconds. So that's I think that's a bonus. It was generating 1 every 7, and now it's 1 every 4.
That's up.
Razor's Edge chance to generate chi increased to 50% on crit. Tech Sword. So the Tech Sword is the one on live that used to auto forge your blade for you.
Okay,
That's
and now that's a mechanic that's just overall, right?
Yeah. So now it has chance to generate chi when hitting with a non-blade ability increased to 28%. So the Tech Sword's intended to be an offhand weapon, right? That's why it auto-forged. Is intended to be an offhand weapon, not a main weapon.
Right.
So what it's saying is it will generate chi more often when you're attacking with a non-blade ability.
Right. So if you just have it still as the offhand.
Yeah, if you're running offhand, every time you attack with your main weapon, your Tech Sword might be popping chi.
Right. Like 1 out of every 4 times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, which means when you do go to use it, it's probably going to have Spirit Blade already forged because it's going to auto forge anyways, right? And potentially a bunch of spirit attacks as well. Blade of Bloody Silks, Crushing Tide's cooldown now reduced by 3 seconds. That might actually end up being pretty good. Crushing Tide is your burst potential button.
And if you want to reduce the cooldown to that.
But this means you can potentially burst more often. That's assuming you have a forged blade, though. Crushing Tide.
That's assuming you're actually in, yeah.
It is possible to have Crushing Tide available more often than you'd be able to use it, potentially. In which case, that's not super helpful. Rhythmic Blade. It was fixed the case where it was generating too many Spirit Blade charges. Known issue, there's still a known oddity with this weapon on training dummies. Yeah, for whatever reason, using Rhythmic Blade on a training dummy causes you to generate Spirit Blade attacks non-stop, no matter what. It's supposed to be like 1 every 4 seconds, and it would just go like this, tick, 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 tick. And you're like, oh, cool, full blade, let me break it with Crushing Tide. Then it go tick, 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 tick. You're like, this is weird.
Yeah.
But it only did that on the training dummies in Agartha.
Oh.
Not in actual combat in dungeons or anything. So So they
So let me go test my DPS. Oh, it's off the charts now. Awesome.
Yeah, right. You're like, holy crap.
I can do this dungeon by myself.
So they did fix the fact that it was generating too many charges in general, but for whatever reason, there's still an issue on dummies. Blood magic, corruption mechanic has been changed, I think, again. So it deals gradually increasing damage the longer the caster stays above 90 corruption. This can be seen through the buff Tainted Blood. Activating blood magic abilities while your corruption is below 90 will remove stacks of Tainted Blood. So if you're 90 is like basically max corruption, right? That's you. So you're taking some. So now you're taking some damage for being at max, but it's now like a dot on you essentially.
Okay.
And then as long as you let your corruption go below 90 and use any ability, those stacks will come off. Does that make sense? Desecrate has a purge. Communion now cleanses both one effect on the first and the final tick. So it's like a double.
You get double cleanse there.
Double cleanse there.
Right. Again, adding a purge. That's great.
Yeah. Chaos, same. Entropy now purges.
Mm-hmm.
So chaos is a purge.
Elementalism looks like it's getting a pretty...
Elementalism has a brick of changes there.
But yet simultaneously, they have dev commentary that the intention still remains to not perform a DPS rebalance at this point in time. However, changes certain abilities in the Elementalism weapon necessitated a brief look at its performance and making some quick tweaks.
Right. So the heat range damage ranges have been adjusted. The plus percentage damage depending on your heat range.
Mm-hmm.
Flicker, fixed beam castable when cast while overheated. So the first time you flicker brings your heat down. The second time you flicker, it goes back up. Like if you have the passives, you can flicker. Mm-hmm. So what this is saying is like when you're overheated, which should mean you can't cast heat abilities, you can flicker once, but it was letting you flicker twice, even though it shouldn't because that would make your heat go up. You can't be over like...
yeah.
Right. So that was a fix. Crystallized Storm. When cast, if the caster has 30 or more heat, purges the area.
Purges the area. That's a huge purge.
5 seconds, if the caster has 30 or more heat, purges the area again. No longer purges on hit. So it's not whether anything that's standing in the Crystallized Storm is hit. It's just it's literally going to purge anything standing in it.
Mm-hmm.
As long as your heat is high enough. But again, another way to purge.
And then discharge. The damage proc now triggers 100% of the time when Crystallized Storm purges.
Right.
And when it hits an enemy with a purgeable buff, still has a 33% chance to trigger against an enemy without a purgeable buff. So
it just means you're going to get more damage out of it.
Right.
Consistently if you're purging. Now this is the next one's one we talked about on the last stream, which is the Living Flame.
The Living Flame, the pet. To get yourself a nice little living pet.
The combat buddy. So when you cast him, he does like an AoE, and then if you cast again, he just ports to wherever you are, like to wherever you targeted, and does the AoE again. And I think when you cast him again, his health refreshes, I think.
That makes sense. Yeah. Now it says Living Flame inherits your combat stats and thermotic heat. So it gains it inherits your heat level. I don't know exactly how that's going to play.
Yeah. And it health skills with your attack power and attacks every 1.5 seconds.
Yeah.
So with the passive, by the way, his damage is increased. Your cast time of him is reduced. So recasting him isn't as long. But with the passive, Living Flame will provoke enemies who attack you. This effect does not work against dungeon, lair, or raid monsters. He's not intended to be a tank substitute.
No.
And you wouldn't want him to. It would cause issues.
Right.
Your elemental fire and lightning damage heal your living flame pet for 35% of the damage done with that passive. So you guys should keep him alive.
You can keep him alive, and he's basically a
now,
tank
he doesn't work
for...
against Dungeon Lair raid monsters, but I tested him in Dark Agartha, and that's pretty fun. That's your own personal tank buddy.
Yeah.
Like, because although I believe some of the stuff is being fixed during the open beta, like Gatekeeper would cast Anima Drain on the Living Flame. You're
Okay.
like, yeah, sure, go for it, dude.
Yeah, like, yeah, whatever, man.
Drain away, my friend. Drain away.
You're like, for the Gatekeeper, you're not too smart, are you?
Say, oh
I
no.
believe those are on the table to be fixed. I don't
Okay.
know if that's intended or will stay that way.
Probably. Yeah.
Uh,
It does say this is the first tank pet we have introduced or even
Yeah. Now,
attempted.
something else interesting is during the open beta weekend, pets were in dungeons.
Like
A
normal
little
pet.
weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because Living Flame's, I guess, a pet. So, like, your other pets,
Hmm.
people
They
also
just show
have-
up too. Yeah.
like, oh crap! I can have my. Like, or people were just running around with like random pets. Not that they did anything, like combat wise, right? But
Right.
it's just a side note. We'll see if that sticks around or if that's considered a bug or not. But
Pets
but it was
in
there-
dungeons.
It was there for the open beta. But yeah, so the Living Flame is particularly. There's nothing really like this.
No.
FYI, like even the Blood Buddy that they added to Blood, like he's just a little guy that like runs, like kind of shows up and cleanses basically. Like he doesn't interact with anything. He's just sort of a spawn point for a cleanse trigger. Like it looks cool.
Where this is actually like the first time they're actually having like almost a summonable pet.
Yeah, he just follows you around like until he dies. Like even out of combat, like he doesn't care.
He's your true friend for life.
He really is. So yeah, there's just not really been anything like this. It's kind of different. I can see this being really cool, like when you're first playing the game too. Imagine like you're playing Ellie, and in the beginning of the game in Kingsmouth, and you just summon your little flame dude to run around with you and help tank zombies for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because they'll punch him and like you get to attack them while he's being punched. Like it kind of changes the game a little bit.
I think it changes it entirely because now I haven't played Ellie in Secret World Legends, but I played it back in Secret World, and it was a lot of like short kiting. Like it was a lot of like setting something down and then like running in very small circles.
Right.
And so that did kind of get a little tiring after a while. I remember being like, oh, every fight is basically like a carnival ride almost, just with how much I'm like turning around while I'm doing the fight. So in this way, it's sort of like now you can actually kind of stay static. You don't have to be kiting as much while you're.
Your guy can kite for you.
Yeah, he can be. He's the one that's taking the damage.
Yeah. And the more fire and lightning damage you do, the more he heals.
Right.
So he can stay alive longer. No, it's totally, yeah, it's a really interesting concept, completely different. Now, the downside is you lose Crystallized Flame being that AoE that could like snare things and do consistent like tick damage.
Right.
It's like a group. It was a nice crowd control. Now, in that sense, Flash Freeze has been changed. If you have a hostile target within 20 meters, Flash Freeze will cast both at your feet and at the target's feet.
Okay.
Which means you can cast the Flash Freeze at range now instead of just at your feet, which gives you that crowd control because Flash Freeze snares targets, it hits for 6 seconds.
Which makes a little more sense because you think freeze unmoving. You think like, freeze.
Yeah. There's actually depth commentary on this one. With the cold abilities requiring close proximity to deal damage, using them was too risky in a group setting. This change to provide a lower risk, long range cooling option while also keeping a snare effect in the Elementalism's toolkit. So like I said, because we traded out the Blaze, which was our snare group control ability for the Living Flame pet,
Hmm.
Right? That's what it replaced. Now they adjusted flash freeze to kind of fill that role in your toolkit, which is really cool. Really cool. There's some minor changes to a couple of weapons, mostly off of the flicker being weird. Fist got a purge. There's depth commentary on this one that applies kind of to every weapon. I don't know why it's down here in Fist. Passive vigor can no longer be purged. The buff is visible. The depth commentary is the first passive in each weapon's passive tree is intended to be a source of mitigation/survival when soloing. However, the weapons with the heal over time effect suffered unfairly in encounters where the enemy had purges, Dark Agartha, ghouls and scenarios, etc. There was no other advantage to compensate for this weakness, so to balance out these passives, we elected to make all soloing passives immune to purge. So that first passive buff, like in every weapons tree, is essentially like a self-heal of some kind.
Right.
And depending on the weapon type, some of those were just insta-heals and some of them were heal over time effects. And the heal over time effects were purgeable, which could be a problem.
Yeah, by the mob itself or by whatever you were fighting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So now those first passives that heal you, even if they're heal over time, they're not purgeable. Like you get to keep your minimal healing.
Yeah.
Let's see. Again, can't be purged. Some minor changes to Raging Volcano. This was a good one. Do you guys remember this? Blazing Fury fixed an issue where it could cause significant server lag in an equal footing environment.
We discovered that, or no? I don't know if we discovered it, but we certainly tested it here on stream.
We replicated it on stream multiple times just to prove.
We stumbled into it.
Yeah. I think I stumbled into it. I want to say I stumbled into it solo, and then like grabbed you guys to test with again or something.
Yeah, because you wanted to see if it was something.
Yeah, that was with I forget what we were doing at the time.
Oh, we were fighting. It was we were on the live or we're on the test server.
Yeah,
and we were in.
We were on long enough that we were
fighting Jack.
Time. I was like, "Hey, come do this. Let's see what happens."
Yeah,
I remember testing the other signature abilities, but yeah, that got fixed. And if I recall correctly, it was something to do with like health percentages and equal footing, and it was causing like a billion packets to be sent, like because it's trying to recalc the health, and then it's like it's like and just the server just goes.
Yeah, instantly it's like 1 FPS.
This is actually a really huge change here. Pistol has one change, but it's massive. Bamboozle passive.
Mm-hmm.
Now causes Trick Shot to purge 1 beneficial effect. So now Pistol has a purge of some kind, right? But the
Trick Shot hits multiple targets.
Yeah, it's a it's a targeted AoE.
Yeah.
But the second part is damaging effects now work against enemies who are immune to crowd control, and multiple players using Bamboozle will no longer overwrite each other's damaging effects. I didn't even know that first part was happening, but I don't think most people did because no one that plays Pistol takes this passive in group content. Like you might take it in scenarios.
Yeah.
The problem with Bamboozle since launch has been, in order for it to apply damage, it had to meet criteria first.
Which is sort of why, like I generally play pistol shotgun, and like I actually run a pistol elite, and I actually use Trick Shot, and I don't use the passive for it because it just never felt.
But it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
The reason it doesn't do anything in like dungeons and stuff is because the bosses are immune to crowd control.
Right. So anyone that you actually wanted to fight, like it'd be like, oh well, it snares them or it roots them. It's like, yeah, but not any of the real enemies.
Right. Now, like in a scenario where it just waves of normal monsters, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Now it'll do the effect like snare or root them, and it'll do extra damage. That's great. Mm-hmm. The problem was apparently that the ability wasn't balanced around that drawback. Like it's supposed to be putting out X amount of damage, and it doesn't.
No.
Like a lot of the time, because it only applies the damage if the thing is snared, or if it's rooted, or if whatever the other one is. It's root,
Right.
snare, and
Stun.
stun.
Yeah.
And if those criteria aren't met, the damage doesn't get dealt. Whereas the way the elites, damage output's supposed to be, it was calced for assuming you would always get the damage out.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an underperforming like elite from the beginning.
And now it says, damaging effects now work against enemies who are immune to crowd control. So even if they're immune, you still get the damage.
Yeah, so it's still gonna. My understanding is it will actually still like just randomly roll for one of the effects. So it's still random which damage effect it's gonna be. But
Which makes sense for pistol, because a lot of pistol is randomized anyway.
Yeah.
Pistol is like the gambler. if you will.
So shotgun had something done with reinforced shells.
The previous iteration of reinforced shells was
Yeah,
an experiment
that was
meant to provide
basically-
utility.
It's a tanking cooldown now. It was trying to do two things at once, and they essentially decided, like to sum up that paragraph, they essentially decided, nope, it's going to be a tanking cooldown and not be like a DPS utility. So originally it was like, hey, can we make this ability work for both tanks and damage? And they're like, nah, it's not.
Not really.
Cleanup now cleanses 2 effects plus 1 for every 2 unloaded shells. Note, not loaded shells, unloaded shells.
That means it's better to clean up when you're empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you, I don't know if you can be empty actually, because I think empty causes a reload. Like if you have 1 shell left, you would cleanse 2 effects plus 5.
Unless you have the passive that actually gives you more. If you have the, where is it? I'm not in the wrong one.
It gives you more shells.
They do.
Yeah, because after you shoot the last shell, it automatically reloads.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want that because you want unloaded.
Yeah.
The number of shells is fixed. It's in the game UI is what I'm trying to get at. Like there's not a way you have more than
no, I'm thinking of extended loaders. It's whenever you load depleted uranium shells, you feed in 2 extra shells.
Yeah, but it won't go past the max is what I'm
No. Yeah, I don't think I would actually go past.
Regardless, it's what's interesting about cleanup is it no longer consumes or requires shells at all. So you don't have to save shells to be able to clean up. You can now just be like, I need to cleanse, clean up.
Right. Yeah.
And you'll minimum cleanse 2 effects, and for every 2 unloaded shells, you'll cleanse more effects.
You cleanse more, yeah.
And your next shotgun attack will purge 1 effect. So not only can you use cleanup to cleanse, but it can be your purge as well. So the commentary there is the previous iteration of cleanup was too powerful when used as an offhand and too weak when used as the main hand. So focused that much of its utility was lost in average use. The redesign aims to make it still useful as an offhand, but no longer overwhelmingly the single best option. Additionally, the purge on the caster's next attack was added as part of the purge pass and serves to widen the utility of this ability.
Is this when it's too powerful when used as a offhand?
It's saying was. However it was written before, which I don't honestly remember. It's not even referring to live, by the way. What it's referring to is a iteration on the beta.
I was gonna say, yeah, because in live it's for the next 9 seconds, each group member is cleansed of 1 effect every 1.5 seconds.
We'd have to go back and look at other patch notes to see what cleanup was changed to. Because I'm fairly certain that commentary is actually referring to an open beta.
Yeah, probably.
So that is kind of a little bit of an issue with these patch notes. Is like it's not a fault of the patch notes, but it'll oftentimes reference things changed, not from live, but from
from the previous beta, from the previous patch
or the
notes.
one before that, or
Yeah.
the one before that. Like sometimes you can go back through some of them and you'll see like a pretty long iteration of the beta. The beta has had a lot of things flexing. Let's see. If you have the passive, it applies the buff to all group members
Mhm.
whenever cleanup cleanses or purges any effect. Damage increased. Damage now comes from the player that casts cleanup. Multiple players with cleanup crew no longer overwrite each other's effects. It looks like that was a common thread, actually. Keep making things not overwrite other
No,
effects.
not overwrite other players. Yeah.
Combat reload passive no longer loads shells while the reload abilities are active. So you know how like when you go to reload, the bar comes up to pick your shell type?
Yeah. Oh
So-
wait. No, combat reload. Whether combat
No,
reload
on a
is
shotgun, when you're out of shells,
right.
your ability bar flips to pick the shell type you want to reload as.
Right.
So what this is saying is, it's combat reload's not going to load a shell while you're trying to pick.
Oh, okay.
That's been a problem.
Because combat reload, it says while in combat, if you still have shells loaded, you load an additional shell every 5 seconds.
Right. So what was happening, what was like a bug with it, is like it would go to empty, your abilities would flip, and then combat reload would go chunk,
Yeah.
shell anyways,
Throw one back in there.
and then you flip back, right? And you didn't
Mhm.
get to pick a different shell type.
It's more annoying than anything
And the
else. yeah.
timer for loading shells now starts on entering combat. Yeah, its timer was really wonky too. General change, healing potion, no longer triggers the cooldown. Change from percent max health to a scaling value based on your character's power and anima allocation. The healing when soloing should be about the same. This change is made to retain the potions useless in solo content but bring it in line for tanks. Basically, previously the healing potion with how tanks work now was a little too OP for tanks.
Right. It was a little too nice.
Yeah. And then on like it was like 2 days later, there's a small additional patch note on that Sunday. This is an interesting one. Hellraised Boss 5 Recursia. The succubus that has all the little ads go towards her where they try and reach her and then explode.
Right.
They now have a new passive effect, Soul Purpose. This creature's sole purpose is to be consumed. Failure to fulfill that purpose is death. When stunned, rooted, or knocked, this creature will die. So you don't actually have to take all the health away. You just have to stun, root, or knock them, and they'll disappear.
Okay.
Now,
I mean,
a lot of us knew this already on live. Like, okay, when the creatures reach the center, they cast an ability called like bio something. It's like their explosion cast.
Mhm.
And on live, when they reach and start to cast that, if you impair them right then, they would vanish. Right?
Okay.
So you impair their explosion cast, and
They have no
just-
more reason. Yeah.
they have no more reason to be. The game is like, okay, well, they exploded, but no damage happened, so they just go away. And that was a common like higher end thing to do, is just bring a bunch of impairs, and if anything makes it to the center, you just bloop as soon as they cast. Well, now you didn't have to wait for them to get to the center. Now you can just stun them right away. You know, which I think is actually cool. I was always a little concerned that was like an unintended effect, and I'm kind of interesting to see that they went the other way with it.
They were like, no, this sounds good. Yeah, that's fine.
Like, you know what? Yeah, their whole purpose is to get there. If you stop them from getting there, they just die. Her reflex shield is now properly tagged as a reflex shield. The Ankh fix. So
Klein has been given an additional mechanic.
for elite plus 14 mechanics on lower. Yeah, for whatever reason, the spider boss was having the E14 mechanics on like E4 or something. It's just weird. Boss 6 has given an additional mechanic. I'm not even sure I saw this one, to be honest. I was talking to someone about it. I think mummies show up at the end. It's kind of like boss 1. Like a bunch of mummies show up.
Oh, okay.
Hell Eternal, including lens duration, is now 10 seconds down from 15. So again, it's a thing of the lenses being tuned down because they actually are like nastier now. There was also some blade changes there. Effects that trigger off chi generating will no longer erroneously activate while out of combat. Soothing Spring, fixed giving cleanse affected team members while in the animal well. It was just too good. Shotgun Cleanup, fixed
bringing everyone back from the dead. Yeah.
Well, apparently both those abilities were cleansing people when they shouldn't have been. I don't know if that really matters. If you're in the animal well, you shouldn't have effects on you anyways.
Right.
I guess
You're out of the fight completely.
it probably shouldn't happen. Yeah, so that is the that is the short version of the long patch notes.
And that's just a patch notes just from this third beta.
Yeah, that's not from the prior two.
Right. This was just for the patch notes for the beta weekend, August 21st through the 24th.
You should see the closed beta one.
Oh, yeah. Good Lord.
Yeah.
So they're very much behind the scenes, basically balancing the Heckenback.
Yeah, that is a fair assessment.
Yeah, and really, really changing up the back end of the game to I don't know, just make it more healer and tank necessary.
Yeah.
I mean, and while it's not a DPS rebalance, there certainly has been DPS balance like happening out of the necessity of all the tank weapons got changed.
Right, elementalism, for example. Yeah,
all the hero weapons got changed. Elementalism. So just a quick note on why that was changed. Okay, I'm like, why the hell would you touch elementalism if it's not a DPS pass? Well, crystallized flame / blaze, right, which has been like the offhand meta forever now.
Mm-hmm.
It was considered an outlier, like the KSR. KSR was just crazy overpowered, like broken, like mathematically broken. Like it was double dipping into things it shouldn't have been. There's all kinds of problems with the math on KSR. It was getting bonuses like double or triple or something. So KSR got fixed. It's still not bad. It's not a bad assault rifle. It's a good assault rifle, but it's no longer going to be just like
the
10
assault
times
rifle
above everything else, right?
Yeah.
And then the other main outlier was crystallized flame. The thing was just crazy as hell. Oh, and by the way, this is like a closed beta note, I guess. It turns out crystallized flame had a bug. It had a math bug.
Okay.
Or I don't know if it's math bug is the right word. So the amount of damage it was supposed to deal was for 2.5 seconds, like every 2.5 seconds.
Okay.
And instead it was dealing that like every half second.
Oh, geez. That's a problem.
So like the passive changed how often the tick happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't adjust the damage. So when they looked at it and they're like, oh, this is why this is so broken. It's not balanced for this. It's supposed to be balanced for this amount, right? The problem is like they did that and then it was kind of horrible. Right? Like it just wasn't like it went from being overpowered to just being like worthless.
Okay.
And the idea was, I guess, and I'm just like kind of spitballing here, but the idea is let's do something different. Elementalism needs something there.
Something fun.
Just fixing the math bug isn't enough. It takes the only like useful thing out of there. So they did the living flame thing, and when they did living flame thing, in general, the other minor thing they did was just straight up buff the damage thresholds of the heat values. So I think what they are now, let me see.
Basically plus damage across the board.
Yeah, okay, so just do you still have the the damage note up for that?
I do.
So I can find it. So
76 to 100 heat is 67% increased damage. 50
Right.
to 75 is 33% increased damage, and 26 to 50 is 17% damage.
So on live, 26 to 50 is 9.2 instead of 16.9.
Okay.
51 to 75 is 18.4 versus the new 33.8.
Which is double. Yeah.
And 76 to 100 on live is only 36.9, where on the beta it's 67.6.
Which is also almost double. Yeah.
They're pretty significant, just straight up buffs to the heat mechanic. Like straight up, like Ellie's way lower than it should be.
Yeah. really giving an incentive to really get up there in heat.
Yeah, for sure. But even at lowest heat, it's still like nearly twice as much. Like at mid heat level, you're about at what max is currently.
Yeah.
So
that's the whole thing with elemental is you want to get up as high as you go. That's where you're more powerful to clear it out. So you can get
you don't want to overheat. You gotta
it's like that balance that you want to do.
It's to keep yourself as high as possible. Whereas before it wasn't wasn't so advantageous to try to get up as high as possible to be more safe, I guess.
On that note, by the way, this isn't in this patch note. I think it was in the open beta 2 patch note or something.
Right.
The cooling abilities like flash freeze, for example, its cooldown immediately comes off cooldown if you overheat. So let's say
just to give you like a really quick cooldown, I guess.
Well, so if you do overheat, like it feels really bad to be stuck not being able to do anything.
Right.
Because just FYI, Ellie doesn't have a cold basic ability. It's a heat ability. You can't use your basic if you're overheated. So it is possible to get yourself in a situation where
you can't do anything.
Ability is on cooldown, and you've overheated, so you can literally do nothing. No basic attack, and no cold attack because it's on cooldown. No main attack because you're overheated. No basic attack because you're overheated. No cold attack because you already used it.
And that's a terrible feeling to be in a spot where it's like
you just
can't do anything.
While chase you, right? Like, so again, the thing they did is a couple of the cold abilities now, when you are overheated, instantly come off cooldown. So even if you use it 2 seconds ago and it's a 10-second cooldown, it's back. Which means you could do something like, get your heat up to right below 100, like Mjolnir, right? Overheated, flash freeze, Mjolnir, overheated, flash freeze, right? Like you could basically stay at high heat a little more
consistently,
early, without getting yourself in the situation where like you just can't cool down, and you can't do anything.
As I said, like after these kind of go through, I really am thinking about doing another doing another character and just and going through elementalism, just playing it like more from the beginning.
Yeah,
just because it sounds like these changes with the pet and with the changes to thermotics, like it just seems like it'd be fun and different. Overall, it's a lot more fun. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it changes out the playstyle that you're used to something that's more conducive to actually playing the game.
Or to play it a lot more like fast and loose. To play it more like a,
right. You're not
the
worried
firiness.
about.
Yeah,
you're not worried about getting overheated, and you're stuck. You can't do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's even less of a punishment to overheat.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, I mean, you still don't want to.
You may still not want to do it, but
it's not as much as of a hindrance than what it was.
You shouldn't get. Well, the main thing is you shouldn't get stuck in this weird spot where like you just can't do anything for like 20 seconds.
Yeah,
for no really good reason.
No, I get that totally. So yeah, so that's the patch notes. That's the patch notes for the open beta, and right now things are in closed beta. I think.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I think things are being worked on at the moment.
Yeah,
It's mysterious.
and they are a little busy with Conan Exiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know what's going on at the moment.
Isle of Sipta launches in 4 days, and they may have pulled a lot of people from Secret World to work on that.
And I mean, I know I said this last time, but this feels like it could come out like at any time. To be perfectly honest,
Mhm.
like even these changes, even that mountain of notes, a lot of that is very minor stuff. You know, I mean, I guess the Living Flame, not so much. I guess that was a bigger one, but I know that's had a second run through or a third run through at it. But as far as like the actual healer tank part, the dungeon mechanics, right? All that stuff seems to be like right at the cusp of just being straight up done. You know, there's a bunch of minor changes to weapons because of the way the mechanics have changed, right? You can't just like go live and be like, well, this weapon doesn't do anything now, right? This one cast weapon is like, if you just didn't touch Tech Sword, right? That'd be horrible.
Right.
Who cares if it auto forges? Blade 4 auto forges now. Like you have to change it.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems more like cleanup, if that makes sense. Like it does really feel like this is getting closer and closer to coming out, to being at that stage. I can tell you from the beginning, it felt a lot different. The beginning of the closed beta was like the Wild West. Things were like shifting all the time. It was like, well, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. This ability might do something completely different. And now it just feels like everything's being fine tuned. So it doesn't. I can't say a date. I have no idea. I don't know honestly if they know a date.
I don't think they really know a date. Yeah.
I mean, they have to have one. You generally don't do a project without some kind of.
But we are talking about
By the
Funcom
way.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming close to the end of the year.
I say, but we are talking about Funcom, and Funcom is known now to basically not put things out too far in advance. As I say, that they just came out with one of the biggest things for Conan Exiles.
The fact that we've had open betas,
Yeah,
those betas, right? Like, I don't know. I can't imagine we have like 6 more open betas. I don't.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I don't even know if we have open beta 4. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. I don't honestly know right now. It depends if they think it. It really depends if they think that it's down to just cleanup, or if they really need community feedback. I feel like I don't know. I'll be surprised. I don't know if enough is changing to necessitate another open beta or not.
My guess, my personal guess, and this is just pure speculation, is that we're going to see it for Halloween.
I mean, maybe at this point.
Yeah.
I would love to see it before then, but
it would come out during like the Halloween stuff.
Or maybe like right before Halloween, when they know they're going to get an uptick in players, because Secret World has that feel to it. So so we may see it like right before that.
I agree with that.
Certainly possible. That is a plausible answer, sir.
It's plausible, but it is pure speculation. We don't actually know.
Yeah. So I tested a lot of this stuff blindfolded.
Oh yeah.
I tested an absurd amount of Dark Sword Boss 6 blindfolded.
Just
testing. It was pretty funny.
So go ahead and explain what you mean by that.
So I don't know if you have that. Do you have that Remember? Because I have links in the description of that video, so you can just like jump to pertinent parts if you're able to throw it up there.
Yeah, give me a second here.
So on the open beta, I was running Blade and running a dungeon like an E17 dungeon, testing the new mechanics, doing Darkness War boss 6, and we had the rare. We got the rare. You have to like turn around and go through the Mayan area to go back and find the rare. And then like right as the rare died, I think I got the black screen bug.
Fantastic.
Like the entire screen just went black. Like reload UI wouldn't fix it. Like nothing would fix it. My screen was just black.
Right.
I could see my ability bar and people's title bars. And that was it. I don't know. Let's see. It should be in the news, Ember. I think. Or did I put it? No, I put it in hosts. It was in hosts.
Okay.
Let me. If you don't find it, I can link it again.
Oh, I got it.
But yeah, so we went to fight boss 6, which has all those ads and whatnot, and I couldn't see anything, and I was playing melee, so that was fun.
There you go.
Yeah, so that's the fighting the guy, and that happened. The lights just turned out, and I was like, okay.
Now, did it only turn out for you, or do you know if anyone
just
else?
for me. Everyone else was fine. So it's just me playing like this.
Just with a little flash of numbers in the middle.
Yeah. He didn't die. I was just attacking him, so I kept attacking him because I can see his attack bar there, right?
Yeah, so and
I'm floored. So I'm literally like just doing this until I connect with something, and then staying near it. I'm just swinging the sword randomly in the dark, until I connect. And I use /follow to follow someone out of there. Look at that amazing test story. That is horrifying.
Pulling down everyone else's experience.
They're like, what the hell is that shit?
There's a reason why we don't have inventories that large anymore.
No.
It's fantastic.
So then, I don't know, you could probably skip ahead a little bit if you want. Skip like, I don't know, 6 minutes in. You can see on the mini map, I think, more or less where I am. Like, we jump off, we jump down, and now... So this is something I didn't figure out at first. Right here, I'm only able to see the title bar of something that I attack.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if you noticed that. Like, I can see my friends' bars,
Mm-hmm.
and the enemies, it's only when I hit them.
Yes.
Now,
because we can't tab target anymore. So tab targeting would have been very helpful in this situation. But
what I figured out partway through this hour or whatever I was doing this for, what I figured out was you can turn on name tags, so it just shows the title bars above their heads.
Yeah. Okay.
So a little bit later, I don't remember exactly when I did that. A little bit later, skip to like, I don't know, 15 minutes in, Ember. I got that going for me.
Well, it's a little bit more
You
helpful.
got little red floaty tags. So now I can.
Now you're like Daredevil, basically.
Yeah,
You know?
I got my sonar.
Right. Whole point of Daredevil is that he's blind, but the fun fact is that he's really not blind.
I mean, I'm pretty freaking blind here. I will have you know that I avoided concuss. I dodged him behind the rock. I got out of open the rift. Like, I did all kinds of stuff completely blind. Oh yeah, this part I'm like that. It was gone because Nervell fixed it on me. I had the Discord messages in here. Donlock was like, Mr. Magoo.
Like I was actually trying to do it once I was actually blind.
Then
Maybe at least finish the run.
You can have this Tokyo Nightmare Escape drugs filter instead. So at this point, Nervell just starts applying random filters to my screen, and layering them on top of each other. So if you go like jump to like minute 17, see, because you'll get an idea.
So as we've learned, once Nervell has his eye on you,
like
he'll just play with you.
And it gets worse. It gets worse. Let's see. Let's try to find one of the really offensive visual ones. Go to like, I don't know, minute 32 or something. There's just like a billion things on me. Oh, you know what we passed though? In the description, Nervell, look for the one that says Nervell adds Jimmy mode. It's like 2407. There we go.
Yeah.
You can, if you can read that. Are you able to read that? It says, you probably don't want to have to deal with this. Usually the floor is lava. Sometimes the ceiling is lava. If you're Jimmy, it might be the wall to your left. Hard to tell. So apparently, while eating lunch one afternoon, Nervell coded in Jimmy mode into the beta.
Okay.
Is this something he can like spawn on me?
Mm-hmm.
So it seems to randomly change your controls.
Okay.
Like left is right, right is left, up is back, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
not just that. It cycles through other things, like other random effects. One of them was like you just can't do anything at all for like 5 seconds. Another one was I literally could only walk backwards. Like that's it. Like no other direction would work or do anything. I can only walk backwards.
That's fantastic.
So while all these visual effects are on, I also have Jimmy mode running, right? And then if you click the link in the description, the one that says 3320, that one's pretty funny. He also made me sit.
You just float around.
He made me sit, and like I still managed somehow to get the hell out of the Rift cast here. I blink and then like which is pretty amazing. I think we wipe here anyways, but it was pretty fun. And then if you go to 3946, which is the last link there. So Nervell's messing with me so much, it gives me the black screen bug back. Like it totally goes back to black screen because he broke too much stuff. And then so now at this point,
You do, yeah.
I have Jimmy mode buff still on me. I am now blind and can't control the direction I'm going.
and have no idea when something decides it doesn't want to start working anymore.
Yeah. So like randomly my left is right or forwards or whatever. And then sometimes I can't move and sometimes I can only walk backwards while blind. It was super, super fun. I had a blast. At one point, I think it was like at 1419 where I say I'm literally beaming ear to ear.
Yeah.
The best time I've had in this game. Like it was so much just stupid fun.
Like, yes, sir. Can I have another?
And honestly, we didn't finish that fight, but not because of me. I was rarely the first person to die. Like as you saw when I was sitting, I was actually the last person to die in that particular play.
Mm-hmm.
There was aggro issues with that boss specifically that have been like bug reported, and actually I believe have been fixed. They were prevalent that weekend, but my understanding is I think since then they've been fixed. But there was significant issues in phase 3 of that fight where when he does concuss, when he does concuss, it's basically once he comes out of concuss, the tank can't get him back. He just kills a random DPS.
Okay.
And you not me, which would have been probably fine. Because they probably could have killed it without me. But he kept killing like the assault rifle DPS. and that was bad. Because I'm just blindly flying around with a sword and like blizzard and shit. Like but yeah, that was a ton of fun.
Good times.
It was a good time. And
Yeah.
there's a reason that's a 50-minute video, mostly because I couldn't figure out what the hell to cut. But yeah, we spent at least 50 minutes, if not more, just on boss 6.
Just throwing yourself at the boss.
Just
yeah.
sticking around.
I mean, it's a fun place to be at where because we've heard this before from some of the from like Andy or previous GMs where they're like, you don't want to mess with people too much, because if you mess with the wrong person, they're gonna get angry, or they're gonna be mad, and you don't want to necessarily do that. So you have to know that the person that you're going to be messing with isn't going to get all, isn't going to be all like, look at what they did to me, it's unfair, it's blah blah blah.
No, I was the opposite way. I was like, you fixed my black screen. God damn it!
You fixed it.
Where'd you fix that bug?
I was trying to do a bug. In fact, this is funny. I was like, hey guys, can we wipe? I want to beat this while I'm blind, because there was one point where only I died and they were still going, and I was like, I kind of want to kill it.
Right.
Blind.
Yeah, guys, can we try this again? Can we just
honestly, it felt like the aggro problems got worse the longer we were in there.
Probably interesting.
It was consistent at first, and it just kept getting worse. Which is kind of odd now I think about it, but it is really what it felt like. But yeah, I was legit heartbroken when my black screen went away.
Yeah, like how dare?
And Narelle was just confused because he didn't even expect it to work, because it didn't work the last time he tried to fix it for someone else that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently the Darkness War black screen bug is a particularly odd thing, and they haven't really been able to address it. To
really nail it down.
Some ideas. There's some thoughts on what might be causing it. I think it's combat on the uneven ground in the back area. It's kind of like how in Hell Eternal you can get the flicker bug when you die on uneven ground from the Jin's chains or something. That's a way to consistently get yourself the flicker bug. I think in Darkness War it's similar, except instead of flicker bug, you just get black screen.
Interesting.
I think it's a potentially a similar root cause, which is uneven terrain, and it's like it thinks you're in the void, like you should have died.
So it thinks you're in the void, so it just shows you void.
Right. Yeah, like you somehow clipped a trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Because the ground's like all wonky. And also, if you saw that clip in the beginning, when I play Sword, especially Tsunami, where I'm like going like this, I tend to my character to go back and forth, like left to right. Like I don't just stand in place and slash. Like I move back and forth. Like I bob and weave while slashing with the sword. It doesn't do anything. It's just how I play.
Float like a butterfly.
Yeah, stay like a bee. Mm-hmm. Right? We're bees.
That's our motto, basically.
Yeah. So, but as I was doing that, I must have like stuck my toe in something I shouldn't have, and boom, black screen bug.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. It also took freaking forever to edit.
Well, I can imagine. Yeah.
And plus, I had like, I don't know if you, I think you saw one of them. I had to like mask the parts where I brought up Discord and was doing shit.
Yeah, it's where it
You're
comes
like,
up with
I'm
more
not showing
Discord
this. Not
shenanigans.
showing this.
Yeah. I had even more Discord shenanigans. It's like a little mask over the fact because I was alt tabbing into like Discord to talk to Nervell and stuff. I can't be showing that shit. So like, yeah, it was an editing nightmare, but it's super fun. Super fun. Do we have enough people? Do we want to raffle this spacesuit? Is anyone interested in a spacesuit in game?
Well, who do we got? We have a couple people in chat. Anyone possibly want the what do you say? Filthy dragon spacesuit?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
All right. So we can do a raffle.
Let's see if this works here.
Dragon, but anyone can get it.
Yeah, it's not. It's the green. It's got the green striping or whatever, but it's not faction bound or anything like that.
All right, let me go ahead and see if this works. I haven't done this with this software yet.
Oh, this is that weird raffle thing you got?
Yeah.
Nice.
There we go.
You have 15 seconds. Type join.
Type exclamation point join.
Yeah, exclamation join. What? Exclamation join.
Yeah.
Kalani is now just trolling. I see Hollow looks like he did it. Oh
no, he did. No. Hollow, you did I join.
Exclamation point join. Kalani, you realize you might be confusing other people.
There you go, Hollow Point.
You might be confusing other people with your random weird exclamation points. They don't know what to do. All right, guys, you have like a minute left.
5 a.m. Yeah, no, we give you a lot of passes for that since it's since it's stupid early in the morning.
You just woke up, or you still been up?
You did no such thing. Yes, you did. Just grow up. Yeah. So if anyone else wants a shot at the dragon suit, I don't know what a bull spit rabbit is. That doesn't sound hygienic.
You confused nobody.
That's not.
Hollow Point doing some work on the novel. Which novel, Hollow Point? I think you may have mentioned this before.
15 seconds. Exclamation point join. Do it now.
10, 9, 8, 7.
A new graphic novel for Nine Swords. 5, very nice.
4, 3, 2, 1. It's gonna be.
Who is it?
I think
it's Azrael.
It's gotta be
Azrael.
Rigged. Wait, it said he had 30 seconds to type something in chat, and then it just
he did. No, he did.
Oh, he did? All I saw him type was yay.
Yeah, that's right after.
Oh,
it's type anything in chat.
Type win.
Yeah.
No.
Just reply.
Rigged. Shut up, PJ. You didn't even enter.
You called it before it stopped. Oh, because we have.
Because I have a brain? I know how letters work?
We saw the letter Z. I'm pretty sure. No one else has a Z besides Azrael.
Yeah. It wasn't difficult to figure out. We're not Sherlock Holmes over here. This isn't rocket surgery. Gosh darn it.
Congratulations, Azrael.
Azrael, are you in game right now? Can you be in game right now? What is your in-game name? These are all
Give us your deets. Oh, okay. I know. They were here. They were around us. Watching us dance in Agartha.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't put 2 and 2 together on that one. Because it's late. That's why.
Because you would have gotten 3 and it would have been wrong.
Hey, I mixed up semaphore and pinafore before. That's
That's
pretty-
you don't want to mix
that's
up.
pretty bad for me. Yep, over here.
There you go. Enjoy your new spacesuit.
Slightly worn.
It's not slightly worn.
It's a little filthy.
Yeah. It's used.
Something had to wear it.
I mean, if I wore it, then I wouldn't be able to give it away.
So, anyway, on that note, agents, this has been the 0 Point Report, strain 27-iOS. You can catch us recording live every other Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time here on the 0 Point Report Twitch channel, where you could also join us and chat with us while we do the show live, or download our show wherever podcasts are found so you can listen to us on the go. Jimmy, where can we find you online?
Looking over your shoulder. You
I
can
thought that's
usually
what that
find me at twitch.tv/Jimmy the Rabbit.
And Ember, how about you? Where can we find you?
I'm the lone wolf over on Facebook, fb.gg/Schrodenberg.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I've been there a little bit over a month now.
I maybe I knew it and I forgot, but
Yeah.
I certainly didn't remember.
Well,
In a
I'm
blender of
restreaming
margaritas.
to Facebook, Trovo, and YouTube all at the same time.
Okay. Spread yourself around. I can respect that.
Oh, I just saw Claney's. You can find Jimmy in a blender of
In a
margarita.
blender of margaritas. Not wrong.
Probably
Not
true.
wrong. Yeah. And I'm Ocho, and you can find me both on Twitter and here on Twitch at Big Mikey Ocho. You can get in touch with us by engaging with us. You can get in touch with us by engaging with the show on Twitter at 0 Point Report, emailing us at the 0 Point Report at gmail.com, checking out previous shows on our YouTube channel, and joining us on our Discord server, both named the 0 Point Report. From all of us here at the 0 Point Report, we want to thank you for tuning in and wish you all the best from the secret world. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time.
Later.
Bye, everybody.